Hey guys, welcome to Bastian time. This is This Week in Zelda News. It's actually going to be part one of This Week in Zelda News because there was so much Zelda news this past week that I can't possibly cover all of those, and I kind of don't want to cut too many of them out, so there will be this episode of This Week in Zelda News, and then instead of This Week in Nintendo News, I think it'll just be This Week in Zelda News Part 2. But maybe with some Nintendo news as well. We'll see. Our first story comes from the Zelda creator himself, Shigeru Miyamoto, and of course we didn't see anything about Zelda at E3, neither for the Wii U nor for the 3DS, but thankfully Mr. Miyamoto has a little something to say about future Zelda. Basically what he said is that right now they're in the research and development process. But contrary to what he and Mr. Aonuma have said earlier, which was that after doing Skyward Sword with the Motion Plus controls, that they cannot possibly imagine going back to button presses, and so future Zelda titles will definitely have motion controls. Now they're saying, or Mr. Miyamoto himself is saying, actually, they've heard from a lot of people that that was a turnoff, and a lot of people either just didn't buy the game because of the Motion Plus controls, or they played the game but got frustrated with the controls, and so they didn't finish the game. So they're now in a research and development process for Zelda Wii U, and thinking about ditching Motion Plus controls for that title. This is surprising because as somebody who stuck with it, I mean, I got a little frustrated when I first started playing Skyward Sword, but you eventually learn how to use it. You learn that it's not glitchy, it's all based on where you are when you calibrate it, the Motion Plus controller. If you're sitting right here on the couch and you're swinging around and you've calibrated, and then you get so into the excitement that you're now over here and swinging around, of course the Wii is going to be interpreting that differently. It's you can't be moving around too much, and I think a lot of people didn't understand that. They thought that it wasn't working or that it was glitchy, and I really don't think that was the case at all. I think it was simply a matter of people not understanding that they couldn't just be all over the place, that you have to recalibrate if you're going to move over a foot or two. So I really want another Zelda game with the Motion Plus controls. I had a lot of fun with that, but I'm not terribly surprised because with the Wii U pad, the gamepad as they're calling it, of course they're going to want to develop Zelda to utilize that to the best of its abilities. That's what they do. They try to take whatever the system is that they're developing, the new console, and then tailor the Zelda and Mario games to that. So we're definitely, it sounds like, going to be using the gamepad, and so that's likely going to be button presses, and I'm okay with going back to button presses, I guess, but I certainly wouldn't mind another Motion Plus title. On the 3DS side of things, right now Miyamoto says that at Nintendo, they're currently debating whether to do a Link to the Past remake or a Majora's Mask remake. Mr. Miyamoto has been very vocal about sort of preferring to do a Link to the Past remake, but he also knows that tons of fans want a Majora's Mask remake, so that's their current debate, it sounds like. I'm kind of surprised to hear that they haven't already decided this and aren't already nearly finished with whatever it is, but this could just be Miyamoto speak. He tends to say that they're talking about or thinking about or deciding on things that have already near completion. So we'll just have to wait and see what they end up choosing. Our next stories are about two different glitches. One glitch, and both of these glitches, by the way, were discovered by a Zelda Dungeon forum member, and he managed to figure out both of these glitches and thankfully make videos of them. One of them is about how you can apparently acquire the Goddess Sword right from the beginning in Hero Mode, and so he explains how to do so in a very detailed manner. So if you want to figure out how to do that, be sure to take a look at that story and the link down below. The next glitch is about those little adorable Remlit creatures who you know in the daytime are kind of like kittens, and then at nighttime are vicious feral wild beasts that attack you. Apparently, if you throw one of these at just the right angle at one of the bird statues, it decides to become a Ferris wheel. Pretty amusing to look at, and you can go ahead and give these glitches a shot. Again, the link to that story is in the description down below. Our next story is about a newly announced Link figure. It's from Figma, who is famous for creating these types of figures. And this is an extremely detailed, very articulated Skyward Sword version of Link, and it comes with 2 interchangeable faces, a regular face and then a more angry warrior cry-looking face. It allows you to articulate them in various different ways. You can attach this plastic thing to the sword that makes it look like it's doing a sword slash sort of effect. It's pretty awesome, also pretty spendy. I won't be picking one up, but let me know in the comments down below if you plan on doing so. Our next story is about the Zelda Symphony of the Goddesses, and thankfully they've gone ahead and added some Northeastern US tour dates, so if you live in the northeastern part of the United States and you're wondering when the heck are they coming your way, now they are. So be sure to go ahead and click on the link down below for that story to find out exactly what those dates are for those cities over there in the Northeast. And then our final story is about 3 high school friends who just graduated high school. They're also Zelda fans, the 3 of them, so they decided to celebrate this big momentous point in their life by getting matching Triforce tattoos, and each of them selecting one of the 3 virtues to fill in for the coloring on that tattoo. That's a great idea. Wish I would have thought about that back when I graduated high school. I have got my own Zelda tattoo. Naru, Ferris, and Din. I've also got the Triforce from the Master Sword tattoos, so I'm a fan of tattoos. I'm a fan of their tattoos. Do you have any tattoos, especially Zelda ones? Let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to click here. This is last week's This Week in Nintendo News. This week's This Week in Nintendo News is probably just going to be mostly Zelda stories because I have a whole lot left over. Couldn't fit them all into this one, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Bye, guys!